What's good? What's good? What's good? It is your girl Cher back for another Friday. Say it with me, y'all. Friday. Yes, it is finally Friday. We have all made it. It's been quite a week, I will say, for both personal and professional reasons. It's been a ringer, y'all. But you want to know something? We here. We here. We're still standing. Personally, I could probably take a nap for about 2 days straight. I don't know about you, but at least I'm here and awake and alive with you guys right now. Y'all, just to go ahead, take care of some housekeeping at the top of the program here, you will notice that there is an updated sponsor on the channel. Oh, yes. So, I am now proudly sponsored by 1985 Games. They have a great array of tabletop accessories available. They had an awesome Kickstarter that just ended not too long ago. Now they've got their full website up. Go check them out at 1985games.com. As you can see, they have a free shipping code that you're able to use on orders over $60. So just take a look. And here's a goodie. Hold on. Let me reach for it. Reaching for it. There we go. Hey, the old tendons are working today, y'all. Here we go. So we have here Hell and High Water, okay, which is one of the latest sets of map pieces that they have available for all your tabletop map needs. And I really love the quality of these. Especially I come from the background of tabletop gaming where, you've got limited space, especially if you love to play at your friendly local game store. You know what I'm talking about, y'all. Y'all have that nice little tiny room all the way in the back. Probably was a closet before. Now it's been kind of like revamped. And now you've got table space to hold Adventure League games, Magic the Gathering, all that lovely, good, nerdy stuff. However, you're the DM. Scenario is you got limited space. These tiles are really lightweight, really useful. You just cut them up, divide them, and you've got instant modular pieces that you can lay out for your sessions. So really convenient, really handy. Go check them out. And if you guys use the code that you'll see come up in the chat shortly, that code will help your girl out just so that I'll be able to earn a little bit, because you know what? I stand by products that I find are, very useful. Those are the only type of products that I stand by. So go check them out. And of course, we have our ongoing sponsor who's been a sponsor of the channel since the jump, 88 Riddles. Shout out to 88 Riddles. If you use code GAMER on their Etsy store, etsy.com/shop/88 Riddles. You will receive a 10% off discount for all their merchandise. And y'all know I love those t-shirts, the shirts, the dice balls. Ooh, y'all, if y'all haven't gone over there to check it out, you'll be glad you did. So, with that, today I have the honor to chat with my incredible guest, TJ Storm. As a 7-time International Martial Artists Hall of Fame recipient and the founder of the Mind's Eye Tribe Action Actors Academy, he has had decades of performance capture experience, making him one of Hollywood's most expert character creators working in film, TV, and video games today. He is an actor known for playing a diverse range of characters in live action and performance capture, including Maginty in The Punisher Warzone, Godzilla in Godzilla King of the Monsters, The Predator, Darth Vader, Colossus in Deadpool, Iron Man, Rocket Raccoon, Black Panther, and a multitude of others. A lifetime of studying the martial arts, film and TV acting, dance, and intense study with some of the world's best instructors have given TJ Storm an amazing career as an actor and top performance capture artist, as well as an unparalleled edge in teaching the new generations of actors, action actors, and stunt performers in theater, film, and television. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce TJ Storm.
What's up?
What?
How y'all doing? I just stopped by to be.
I love it. Be and be free.
Oh yeah.
I love it. Brother, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me, and thank you for doing this. This is awesome.
Good. I'm glad to have you here. So glad. You and I have spoken about it briefly. I think it bears repeating. It's important to be able to let folks know, especially aspiring actors, that there are different facets of the industry that you're able to pursue. There's this fascination that I've always had with this very physical part of the industry, it brings me joy to be able to have you on the show today. Let me do this. And bam! And we are at the socials for TJ. We've got Instagram, we've got Twitter, I think the very first time that I had the pleasure of watching you work was as Keen on the D&D Beyond series, Heroes, Beyond Heroes.
Beyond Heroes.
And it was so fun because, and everyone on that show, I loved everyone's characters. I mean, it was phenomenal, the stories that you guys told on that whole series. And what impressed me was that, after doing research, especially for today's conversation, your list of credits is amazing.
Okay.
Well-rounded doesn't do it enough justice, in my humble opinion, right? So, from what I researched, if I understand it correctly, you can draw a line of progression from your dance background to martial arts into acting. Do I have that right?
Actually, my mom, I was really tall when I was really young, and I was clumsy. And my mom put me into karate first because I was clumsy and I was hyper, and I would have probably been diagnosed with ADHD, and I probably would have been given Ritalin if it were today. But back then, my mom was like, you know what, we're going to put you in karate. And she did, and she made me stick with it. She didn't let me quit. I learned discipline from that. I learned focus, and I learned a lot of the skills that I still use today. I wanted to be cool, so that's why I learned to dance. I was trying to be cool because I was in the back of the classroom playing D&D with my friends. But apparently, girls won't go to the dance with you if you are a great D&D player. Did not know that. So I learned to dance because I was trying to be cool, and I wanted to go to the dance, and that took me in a different trajectory.
That's interesting that you mentioned that, because the response from those of us females in the industry are, perhaps that may not have happened to you had there not been as much gatekeeping as there was back in that day, you
Absolutely.
know, that
Absolutely.
where we females were not necessarily invited to the TTRPG table unless we were like the boyfriend or the girlfriend, or sometimes maybe even the sister of, like whoever else
That's
male
true.
was sitting
That is
at the table.
absolutely true. But at the same time, I do have to say that was, second edition and then later third edition. You needed to understand calculus to play back then. So it wasn't
Sure
like,
did.
oh, pick up a book. No, it's like bring your protractor, bring 200 kinds of dice, 40 pounds of books. That was how you had to play. And I marched to school. My backpack was this thick with books, and they were not school books. I came with my D&D books because I knew the books that I needed were already in school. So why bring them? So I just it was a different time.
You were prepared. Brother was prepared. He's like,
love
oh,
I
we dropping a session right here, right now on the
yeah, yep,
playground. Let's go.
yep.
Boom, just wall
Yeah.
of books. Yes,
It was a different time. One time we were at chapel. They had chapel on Wednesdays, and we had to sit there and we would listen to the sermon. And my friends were sitting on the left and right of me, so I'm like, and I was always the DM, so I was like, okay, you guys are walking through the woods, and you hear something, and somebody rolled the dice on the pew, and we tried to do it real quiet on the book, but it bounced off the book and hit the wooden pew, and then bounced around on the pew because it was plastic, and then bounced on the floor, and everybody knew what that sound was. Everybody in the entire chapel knew what that sound was, and it happened
oh dear.
right at the moment when the pastor he took a dramatic pause, and then Moses stopped, and he said, we're like, and everybody was like, and looked at me like,
Moses stopped and said, "You failed your stealth check."
yep, Moses rolled an 8,
Oh
and
no!
and we lost that dice because we couldn't claim it. It was gone over there, so we're like, I don't know whose dice that was. We just
Oh
sat there,
no! Oh
and that was it.
wow!
Yeah, it was a different time.
Well, certainly, and I mean, I remember in my claim to fame in 2.0, actually in the 2.0 days, was I was running a cleric that had twin warhammers, and my party was stuck in a gladiator arena, and we had to battle our way out in order to earn our independence back.
Yeah.
And like I took out a minotaur, like clapping the two hammers together on either side of their head, because I rolled in at 20, and I was like that. As you can tell, I've hung on to that for decades.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's
That's it.
that's
You remember those moments.
I mean, that's the type of moments where, as of course adult life can sometimes get in the way and take you away from being able to come to the tabletop and play games.
Absolutely.
After a point, I just said, you know what? I'm tired of ditching my nerdy life. Like, I'm ready to re-embrace the nerd in me. And sure enough, now this wonderful golden age going on. So I'm glad I picked the
That's
right
perfect.
time.
It is perfect.
Oh my gosh. And as far as your progression from dance into martial arts, I mean, and I've seen that with many other actors, as far as that, it seems like a natural progression almost, because even the katas that you do for martial arts are very graceful, very fluid. So I mean, matter of fact, like right off the top of my head, Michelle Yeoh, for example, one of my favorite martial artists to watch on screen. It is like she just dances through a scene
She's
every time.
very elegant with her movement. She's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm lucky to have had such incredible masters in both martial arts, and incredible teachers in the world of dance, and friends, because you do what you love, and the people that were around me fueled that love of movement with me. So they all made it possible, and I'm here because of all of them.
Your tribe. When you find your tribe.
Absolutely. That's it.
Mm.
That's
It
it.
is so good. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience breaking into those areas of martial arts and performance capture? I would love to have you expound on that.
Well, I came to Hollywood. I came to Los Angeles from Hawaii, which is a small place by comparison. And the culture here was much faster, much more aggressive. So when I got here, you always hear the stories of. I'm trying to fix my camera. You always hear the stories about, oh, you go to Hollywood and you get discovered. So I showed up in Hollywood and I'm like, I'm here. So let the discovery begin.
Yes, right? Yes.
And
Oh no.
traffic didn't even slow down. I don't even know. So you come to LA with the dream, and that is literally all it is, because there's no instructions, there's nobody here to help you, there's nobody here to say this is the way. So that is literally why I opened the school, Mind's Eye Tribe Action Actors Academy, to help people find their way if they love what I love. Now, I grew up watching all kinds of stuff. I mean, I love 300. I love Bad Boys. I love Lord of the Rings. If Star Wars, Star Trek, I grew up watching all of that stuff. I love all that stuff. I wanted to be a part of that world, but there's nobody to tell you how to get to that. At least there wasn't at the time. YouTube does a little better than we had back then, but still, you're watching other people's opinions most of the time. The people who really know, they won't tell you because they're busy doing stuff. I come from Hawaii, and it's a largely Asian culture. And in those cultures, it's very important to give back. It's part of the circle. So you take from the world, you work in the world, and then you give back to the world. And it's that circular yin and yang. And that's just part of what I understand. So I got here, I had to climb. Then I started to work. I'm still working quite a bit, but I also want to give back and help other people come up, because I didn't get to where I am by myself. I have gotten to do a lot of performance capture, a lot of motion capture things. I've gotten to work on a lot of movies, a lot of television, a ton of video games. And people are like, wow, man, I want your career. How do you do it? I can't tell you that in one single sentence. It took a lifetime.
You've got to learn and earn it.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I wanted to give people the opportunity to do that. I had some mentors, and they helped me get here. So I want to make it easy for the next several generations to do the same. And that's why we opened the school. We even opened, it's called the Haruo Nakajima Scholarship, to give people who couldn't necessarily afford to go to a school a chance. If they have the potential and the drive and the love and the passion, they have a chance. And if you don't know, Haruo Nakajima was the first suit actor for Godzilla. I wanted to make sure that we talked to the family, and they gave us the thumbs up, and they're like, yes, please remember our father's name to the next generations. And I'm like, I would love that, because he gave me a childhood watching Godzilla. So we have that scholarship now for people to take advantage of, as well as all of our classes.
Fantastic. When I realized that I wanted to go into acting, one of the things I had much the same experience, where it's like, there's nobody on call to tell you how to navigate any of this. And when I see examples of giving back to the community, like what you guys are doing over at Mind's Eye Tribe, I mean, that's just, it's isn't it? It's ohana is the word for family in Hawaiian, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And I feel like having more reciprocal things like that happening in the industry, this is how we evolve. This is how we grow. and it's still a lot more work to be done within across all industries, obviously. But it is no small feat. It's like, how do you go from being martial artist to then like Dumbledore of the like mocap and performance? Like, oh my god, like that. There has to have been that realization, like, okay, I'm a practice what I preach, but wow, I didn't know it was this complicated. Like, what? But did you like, how long did it take you until you realized, oh yeah, I really, we do really need to put together that school? Like, was it like soon after you went into the industry? Did it take a while?
Well, I came out as a dancer. I had no plan to do anything else. I just loved dancing. I would dance for long periods of time all day long. And then occasionally I would get a music video or something like that. And that's a dancer's life. And dancers are not well appreciated. You've seen probably 1,000 dancers in your lifetime, either on videos or at concerts, and you don't ever think about them. You forget about them the second you walk away from the concert. You've forgotten about them. Maybe there was that one guy. Like, do you remember Fame? Do you remember Leroy from Fame?
Oh yes, yes.
He stands out. There's that one guy, or Savion Glover, or there's that one standout, or Gregory Hines. There's that one standout that sometimes you can remember, or the Alvin Ailey dancers. But there are literally thousands of dancers around them. You forget them immediately. So I started to understand, wow, all of this energy, and people are barely registering what I'm doing. Now, I loved it for a decade, but after that, you're like, this is not a sustainable career in any way, shape, or form, for me, at least. Maybe it is for somebody else. I love it, but love is not going to keep me eating regularly. So I was like, well, maybe I can try. I got a quick stint in a recording, and we did okay, but I signed a contract that wasn't favorable for us, and the money just disappeared. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try film. How hard could that be? I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but
Famous last words. How difficult could this be?
but
Yeah.
fortunately for me, I had the martial arts with me, and as a dancer, I could choreograph. And I'm 6'2", and I can move and kick and all of that stuff. So that made it possible. The way that I look made it possible for me to get into kickboxing movies, which were very popular at the time. And I did a ton of martial art movies where it was kind of like film school. It was not the best quality films, but they were serious. They were meant to make money somewhere. And I did a ton of them. I was fortunate to make all of my mistakes on these movies that most people will never see. And I learned from it, because I remember putting so much energy into it. And then I'd watch the movie. I'd find it somewhere like Fry's Entertainment for 99 cents in a bin somewhere. I'm like, oh, I remember this movie. I put it in. Oh, no. Oh, take that out. And I learned a lot from that. Is a harsh kind of film school, but I learned an immense amount from that. And long flash forward like 20 or 30 movies, then I decided to go to acting school. I probably should have done that in retrospect first, but I went to a serious Meisner based school, and my teacher Annie Draymond, she was amazing, and I learned a lot. And as a result, I can act now, and I take it seriously. I remember when I walked into that class, I knew within the first night, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to act, because I was surrounded by people who took it seriously, and I'd done literally 20 times the movies all the people in the room had done, but I had 1/50th of the acting talent that they had, because they took their art seriously. They took their art as seriously as I took my martial art. So I played catch up, and I learned how to act. And I have a new respect for all artists now, because I've gone through the learning curve of art 3 or 4 times. And every time I start a complete noob, and hopefully I get to a point where I'm adept. I'm basically skilled, and someday maybe masterful at something. But I love.
And what's that they always how does the old phrase go? Talent can only get you only so far. The other portion of it, the large portion of it, is training, is discipline, is consistency, technique, all of those things that, you know, not everyone is aware of until you're right in the thick of it. So I totally relate. I totally relate. One question I've been dying to ask you is, with the formation of Mind's Eye Tribe, what challenges for the newer generations of performance capture and mocap actors do you see in the industry right now, if any?
It depends where you're at. If you're an established actor, there is a new technology that you don't understand, and that is terrifying. They're going to put you in a skin tight suit and then put a piece of Borg geometry on your skull and say, okay, go act. And you're going to be like, what? What? And it's so weird. And you're in an empty room with some tape on the floor. Go. And so that's really, 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 really scary to a lot of people. To new people, they're like, oh, I just want to perform. I want to do that. I want to get into video games, and I want to be a voice, and I want to be the body of the hero. They don't know how to get through the doors. They have no idea. They don't even know what the entry fee is. And the entry fee is having a set of skills that you can use on most games, or be an amazing actor, or both. And that both combo is the smallest, hardest combo. It's called an action actor. There's very, very few action actors. But if you can do several of the skills, which is swords and weapons, and you can be creatures and stuff like that. That's one set of skills. And then if you can act on top of that, if you can put those together, very few people can. But if you can do both, you will work all the time. But you have to find out how to do that. And we see so few. I mean, everybody comes in, they're like, I know martial arts, I can do it. They can't act. Or the actors come in, they're like, I could act. And then they hold a sword and they're like,
And then it's not as believable as
yeah,
you'd hope. So yes.
absolutely, absolutely.
Well, with that, it's funny you mentioned that, because what I'd like to do is to bring up a clip of you in action in the studio, and let's take a look here.
Humans. They are but stubborn and foolish. It takes a journey to hell for them to accept and praise their god. A fact that tickles Irony's judgment.
So these are really fun. That's a side by side of a project called Devil May Cry 4, I believe, and we shot that in Japan actually. But yeah, we get to play in all kinds of worlds. We get to be all kinds of characters, and it's a lot.
I mean, it's, and I feel like the feedback that I've gotten from fellow voice actors is that moment when you realize you may be presented with some of the visuals. A lot of times it may not be the final cut of the visuals for the project that you're working on. So you have to summon the imagination to fill in those blanks. And I mean, when I saw you standing there in the studio, I said, wow, there's a whole world that you have to have the technique and the mind process to build around you. Meanwhile, have that timbre in your voice that goes along with the character and the dialogue that you're voicing. So I feel like it's these layers, right? That as an actor, if you think you're doing a little something for TV, film, and stage, then I feel like this is like the next level. Like, I mean, I feel like I would have to learn how to move all over again, just within a space, you know. And just having your physical background it must give you that edge. I mean, talk about that. Like how, like, did you feel able to move around in the space when you first approached motion cap, or like how was like your very first day being professionally paid for a mocap project?
Well, I'll tell you a couple of stories before the first day. So I was probably 6, and this is in Indiana when I was a little kid, and we're playing in the yard with my 2 friends. I think they were Tammy and Glenn, and we were all the same age. And I was playing this robot, and I would chase them around, and they would scream, and they would pick up a stick, and they'd shoot at me, pew 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 pew. But I was an unstoppable robot, so I would keep on moving towards them, and then Glenn would be like, "Okay, I'm going to use a bigger weapon," and I was like, "Oh, that bigger weapon sounds more." So I would go, "Oh," and eventually they would slow me down and I would shut down for a little bit. And they're like, "Yay, we win." And I would count to 5 in my head. 3, 2, 1. I go, and they're like,
No.
so we were playing Terminator 20 years before there was the Terminator. And
Right? Oh my gosh.
that's just imagination. That's just being a kid. Flash forward, I did that last week and I got paid for it. And that's so if you love this, if you were a kid and you still enjoy being a kid, that's what it is. So my first day wasn't that weird because I do that at my D&D game. So when my friends come over and they gather around the table and I'm like, "And the dragon rises." And they're like, "Oh," and I have to
Yes.
tell the story. That is what this is about. We all
Godzilla.
yes, yes.
Oh my goodness. Well,
So,
that you heard it here. You heard it here, kids. Keep that imagination engine running, because that's how you do well in this business. So, but I see, looking at the time, I see that we're halfway through our broadcast. What I'd like to do is to take a 5-minute break to give our audience the chance to stretch, take a bio break, take meds, hydrate. Don't forget to hydrate, y'all, because it is getting hot outside right now. Oh, yes. And when we come back, we're going to delve more into TJ Storm's illustrious TTRPG. Yes, the TTRPG part of his career. We'll be back in a bit.
Easy to.
I'm bored.
We can go scream at the cat for another hour.
Nah, I'm tired of screaming at the cat.
Shut up with that! Be bored no more with 1985 games. Enjoy their vast variety of products and help bring your tabletop to a whole new level. With easy-to-use dungeon sticky notes. The deck of stories holds prompts and adventure hooks for any setting, and thousands of cutout game pieces with their dungeon craft.
You've come all this way for nothing, fool! The princess is mine! You'll never get away with this, Balakor!
Write everything down in your Hero Notes journal and start your adventure today! Visit the World Wide Web address 1985games.com and find many helpful products such as their Dungeon Craft series, battle maps, deck of stories, miniatures, dungeon notes, and now VHS dice. Again, that's 1985games.com.
All right, fam, back with you. It's your girl Cher, back from break, and for those of those of you who are just joining us, okay, okay, mischief managed by my lovely guest TJ Storm in the building today, and up to the usual shenanigans, as you can see. Currently experiencing life as a banana on screen. How about that? Amazing, amazing. Martial artist, TTRPG personality, actor, breakdancer. Listen, okay, let's talk about your physicality. Okay, one of the favorite things that I've always loved about when you're a player in a TTRPG stream is the fact that first of all, I'm amazed by like the fact that they asked an action actor to sit still on camera for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. I mean, tell me what that had to have been super challenging. Am I right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, you can see even on Beyond Heroes and the D&D Beyond streams, and even with Liam O'Brien, I can't sit still. I'm either shoveling licorice into my face, or I'm getting up out of my chair and zipping out of the screen because it. That's why my mom put me into karate. That right there, I can't sit still for very long. And depending on the character, I don't play very often, to be honest. I'm not a player. I'm a DM most of the time. So being a DM, I'm trying to think 3 steps ahead of the players. I'm trying to keep several NPCs in my mind. I'm trying to keep enemy motivations current and evolving in my head. So with all of that concentration tapped, I don't move as much unless I'm doing a character. But
fair. Okay.
if I only have to play one character, and I'm just like, I'm ready to explode. Yeah, I'm. If I'm playing Keen, that's why I played Keen for instance. He was an Eladrin, which is an elf that goes through seasonal changes. And one day I am in my winter, and then another day I am summer, and I get to at least shift seasons. That was just so I didn't explode from non-movement. And I
don't know if you're aware, but your portrayal of those changes in season alone have basically become D&D canon. I don't know if you're aware.
I hope so.
But every time one of my nerdy friends is like, I am in my winter, I'm like, man, I know that. Yes.
Awesome.
Oh my God, so much excitement over that. So thank you for that.
Hey, I'm so happy. That makes me so happy.
That's it. I mean, just the shenanigans. I seem to remember at one point you had the one of the Japanese bamboo hats on, and you had it low over your eyes, and all of a sudden you just broke out into Billie Jean, like right in the background. Like I think Adam was talking. By the way, shout out to the crew over at D&D Beyond. I love every single session of all the Beyond Heroes, the main storyline and the spin-offs. I mean, I've loved everything that y'all have all done with those characters. But just while people, I mean, it showed that nugget of Keen's personality that, like TJ, he was more of an elf of action rather than all of this talking. Like, why are you guys still talking about this? We have to go in there and we have to kill the monster like now. Can we please? I'm like, it was just amazing. You ended up like just breakdancing like all the way to the back of the room and then off camera, and I was crying.
It just seemed right. It felt right.
Amazing, amazing. And I like what I've always wanted to ask you, matter of fact, what was your, besides the fact that you're playing a character, a fighter, right, who is physical by nature, what else were your inspirations for fleshing out Keen as a character?
Um, well, first I wanted to have some flexibility and some latitude to explore more than one character. Like I said, I am usually the DM, and he's or she is usually responsible for the entire world, and your brain is comfortable at moving at 200 miles an hour to deal with that. But to play for 4 hours a game with one character, if after you've been a DM for a long time, my brain is going, well, if I was still 16, I would be like, you should probably do this, and you should probably do that, and you should probably think that. And I didn't want to entertain that, so I gave myself 4 phases of seasons. And
There you
fortunately,
go.
Dungeon Dragons provided that framework with the Eladrin. I thought that was really, really great. And then I was like, okay, what does summer feel like? Summer feels like fury and bravado, and spring feels like hope and new ideas, and winter feels like death. And fall feels like we should prepare. We should take our family and keep them close to us. So I went off of those ideas, and when I shifted into one of those, I became that same person, but they had different values that were important to them over the others. And I just thought that was really, really fun to play with that. And it gave him a slightly different color palette and a different tone of his personality. I just thought it was a fun idea to maybe play with.
Heck yeah, all of the artwork over time that has come up to represent Keen's 4 different seasons, and especially the main art that they had for the Beyond Heroes, main title cards and such. I was like, yeah, I see this just from the way that you had portrayed, those main elements of Keen's attention to being the hero, being going and doing the things that many others who are not heroes may not want to do, but to make the tough call and tough decisions that go into that leadership qualities, the leadership qualities that Keen had. I mean, whatever season that Keen was in, those always shone through. And certainly as an actor, there are those principal things that you learn. You learn technique like that, depending on no matter what situation your character is in, we have to recognize who your character is in their actions, in the way they speak, not just only the dialogue. So, I mean, all of that, all of your background and your training just came through. Even it may seem to other folks outside of the nerddom that that's a small thing, but that is no small feat, especially to keep it together for 4 hours at a time on a live stream. So I know I totally enjoyed it, as so many others have as well. Um, you know what? One other thing that I found was that, like, as far as you tell me, as far as your experiences thus far in in going from motion capture, going back and forth between motion capture, action, what do you have a favorite part of the industry that you like above all others? Is there that one, like, if they locked you in a room and said, okay, this is what you can do forever, like, is there anything, like, would you rather go back to your dance roots? Hey, no judgment, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. No, I understand. I, I'm not gonna lie. The way my brain works, it is in constant DM mode. So
Right.
my life is a living dungeon master kind of. I get to jump from this kind of acting where I'm playing Colossus and Deadpool to this where I'm playing a guy's brother and the guy just found out he had cancer and we have to discuss that, to this character who is a voice of a lich that has been dead 200 years but it still stands to speak, and they're all vastly different, and I love the opportunity to get to do all of that stuff. To Godzilla, King of the Monsters, that's not an everyday thing. I That's pure magic. That is, I am so blessed to get to be able to do those kind of things and have that kind of range to get to play that kind of stuff. That's kind of what a dungeon master does, a game master does, and just like I was saying about being a player, if I get stuck in any one of those for the rest of my life, I'll be like, I'll explode
Oh.
because I've had a taste of what is possible. I get to do all of these things, and I'm really fortunate. I cannot complain. I love getting to do these things, and I love getting to share it with the new generations via the Mind's Eye Tribe and the students who are looking to also have the same kind of dream, fulfill that dream as I did. I'm glad I get to help those that are doing that.
We are about to get into my favorite part of the show, which is showing off dice. And TJ, what do you have with you today? Oh, I'm curious.
Can I show you a couple of things?
Oh, absolutely. Please do.
Okay, so I ain't gonna lie. As the DM, I have to roll a lot of dice, and the particular house rules and the style of my game has a lot of variability. So I'm rolling a ton of dice. Sometimes real dice isn't fast enough for me, so I do use D&D Beyond dice. I use the digital dice roller, but I love dice too. And when I get to have real dice, there's a couple of things. First off, this is just a basic plastic yellow dice, but it's my favorite dice. I've had it for a very, very long time. It's really basic, but
Wow.
it has just rolled so many 20s for me in my life that I'm like,
Okay.
magic dice. Now, I have other dice, but the important thing is how you roll your dice. At our games, we have a lot of people, and they're trying to reach over and throw it on the table, and dice go flying all over the place. And then when the game's over, about 3 days from now, I'll find the caltrop in my carpet that is a four-sided, and I'll step on it, and I'll be like, and then
Ooh.
So to avoid that, I suggested people get dice rollers, and I found a dice roller that is right for me. I'm going to show you my dice roller. If that's okay. Is that okay?
Oh, yes, please. Let's go.
I went out of my way to find. I had a little one, but then this is my dice roller. This is Mjolnir.
That is
Mjolnir.
Thor's hammer. What? Oh my gosh.
So it has dice cabins in the back, so you can pop them out when you're carrying your dice. They're not easy to get open because they'll slide open if they were, but
Look
dice
at that.
live in there.
Wow.
You drop them in here, and they boop, pop out.
That is
In there.
you are blowing my mind right now. This is Mjolnir, Thor's hammer,
I
turned
love
into a dice tower. Are you serious right now? Like,
it.
what do we have the name of the manufacturer that made that?
I can look it up real quick.
Was it on Etsy?
It was on Etsy. It was
I
on
will-
Etsy.
I will
I will
happily
find it.
post that Etsy link. If you can forward me that Etsy link, I'm
I
more
will
than
find
happy
right
to
now.
put that in the show notes later on,
yeah,
especially for
that
my
even
listeners.
is amazing.
That is absolutely amazing. I love that. Love it.
really, really
Etsy is really fun for
appreciate
quite a
arcade.
few things that I've been able to
Magical place.
find. I honestly, I do. I will tell you now, I don't have anything as cool as that. But from what I do have, let's see. So I have a tendency to like different sizes of dice as
Yeah.
well. So I've got this. This is one that's from, if my camera will help focus it. Hold on. There we go. That one is from Kraken Dice. And
Yeah.
it is just beautiful. I love how it has this light aqua quality about it. It's semi translucent. It's got the gold numbering. It reminds me of Atlantis a lot. And
That is great.
this is a dice that I am going to use this die with one of the upcoming characters that I have. I'm going to be a player for over on the Ladies of D&D Twitch channel for a new campaign that we should be starting in a few weeks, and she is a dragonborn, gemstone dragonborn
Oh,
in point of fact, but she has qualities of blue hues throughout her armor and her skin tone that I took one look at that die and I was like, yes, I have to use that for her. Yes.
perfect.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
And then to continue that vein, she is a diamond dragonborn. So I have die that are like, they are definitely see through, as you can see.
Ah,
And they're like crystal clear all the way through.
that's beautiful.
So that's definitely going to be on point for her as well. One other die that I got here recently, and this is the one of the flashiest uh, uh, color coordinated die that I could probably ever have on
Yeah,
the
that's
channel.
beautiful.
I I'm a sucker for purple and glitter. I
That
mean,
is beautiful. That is
and
great.
so we've got that running through this set as well. And I mean, if you couldn't tell that your girl loves purple,
That is awesome. That's great style.
so
I love it.
but yeah, so now I'm looking at our time, and unfortunately, as all good things, it would seem that our time together is at an end for today. But I just want to take the moment to thank you so much, TJ, for being on the show today. And I have we have a way of signing off on this channel. Welcome to it. Are you ready? So when we sign off on this show, we say love,
Love,
peace,
peace,
and soul.
and soul.
This is how we roll.
This is how we roll.
Yes. And with that, I'm going to transition over. I'm going to say a goodbye. Oh, we still have our chipmunk friend. Bye bye, chipmunk friend. The shenanigans today, y'all. I'm telling you. Transition on over and just say a warm, heartfelt thank you so much to all of my listeners, my watchers, my gamer nation out there. Y'all give me life every time y'all come by the channel and support. Any way that you are able to support helps me to keep great content coming back to the channel. With that, I wish all the best for all of you out there. Love, peace, and soul, baby. And we out.